Hello and welcome to Talk a Good Games match preview of Everton against West Ham United. And we've got a massive potential giveaway this weekend. We'll tell you about it a little later on in the show. Gonzo, would you like to kick us off with your thoughts on toffees, please?
Not particularly, but let's just get it over with, shall we? Really like Everton. Nothing against Everton. I'm pleased they're getting a new stadium. Actually, jealous of their stadium. Like their fan base. I think I've spent too long down at the bottom, and probably too long looking at their city neighbours with a bit of jealousy. I'd imagine as well. There's just a lot to like about that club, and I'm pleased they're sorting themselves out. Right now, we've dealt with the niceties. We've got obviously David Moyes over there, which is just making this game really, really juicy. Really juicy, Gio, and it's a game we dare not lose because of this whole Moyes derby thing, basically.
Yeah, I'm the same as you. I'm pleased for them. I like Everton as a football club. I like the fan base as well. I think the stadium, they've done it right. I see them getting like digs from people who perhaps aren't Everton fans. It's like maybe the stadium looks like a Bundesliga one. I'm like, well, what's the problem with that? The Bundesliga atmosphere is much better than the Premier League atmosphere. So where I don't understand it. You know, the capacity is 53,000, if I'm not wrong. I think that's the right one. I think that's right. Could they get more? Yes, they could. But we have done the big one. We have done the stadium that's too big for us. And it gets filled, but it's not necessarily West Ham United fans that fills it. And I think, you know, when Everton go over there, 53,000, it'll be 53,000 Evertonians that's in there. There will be a waiting list. Tickets will get snapped up like that. But that excitement wears off after a while. Give it 10 years, they're still battling relegation. The hunger won't necessarily be there from everybody, but also those seats, if the stadium was bigger, those seats would also encourage those to be filled by the tourists. Yeah. So I think Everton have got this from the outside looking in. They've got it really, really good. I think the transport links, by the sounds of it, are quite terrible getting to and from the ground, but the ground itself looks very impressive, and I'm jealous. I am very
so's everyone
jealous.
else. It's beautiful. That stadium's beautiful. I think I read somewhere they've made it as steep as they possibly can to keep all the atmosphere inside. It's pure jealousy. It's the same with the Tottenham. I know people maybe don't like the Tottenham one, but the Tottenham stadium's stunning as well. It's just pure jealousy from well, obviously from West Ham, of course, we're jealous of everyone's stadium. Do you know what I mean? I'm jealous of Aldershot Town, quite frankly. But I mean, other clubs looking in, I think they've done a really, really good job, and under difficult circumstances with the threat of relegation and points deductions and all this stuff hanging over them, and dodgy ownership deals that don't quite go through and all that. So fair play to them.
What about Moyes then? Job he's done. Impressive. Right man, right club, right time.
How long you got?
As long as you want. It's our preview.
Okay, that's true. Okay, right man, right club, right time. Yes, he's done remarkably well. I always look at the players before we do this preview, because I know you're going to ask me what players you admire. And I looked at the players. Well, he's done really well to get that much of a tune out of that bunch. It's the right thing. Look, it's really hard to go through all this now. There's a whole. We got a problem. The reason I'm being reticent about this is, as most West Ham fans will be aware, we've taken a kicking for David Moyes not being here anymore, and it's pretty constant, and it's from other fans. It's from some certain elements in the media, be it Chris Sutton, what's his name, Richard Keys, Paul Merson. They can't resist gloating. Crikey, there's even a West Ham fan Twitter account which basically takes delight in Moyes rubbing West Ham's nose in it. It's constant, and it's quite hard. It's quite hard to stomach, actually, truth be known. But I think when people look at Moyes at Everton, he is happy, he's bouncy. The version of Moyes that Everton have got is not the guy that was at West Ham last season. That was a guy that was tired. That was a guy that was run down. He'd had enough. He'd needed a break. He was far away from home. He'd lost a succession of coaches. His main man, Alan Irvine. So I always get me Irvines and me Irvings mixed up. Alan Irvine really needed him. He's a really, really important coach. If you look at his career, I mean, he should have taken Alan Irvine to Man United rather than Steve Round. And I think things might have gone a little bit different. You can draw a line through Moyes' record at West Ham from when Alan Irvine left, right? And you can see the downward spiral. It's not quite that easy because he stayed here part time. I think he lives in Cheshire. And he was travelling back and he was doing 2 days a week. But you can see when he left, as Moyes is right hand man, it's like Peter Taylor to Brian Clough. Basically, these guys need. I don't know why I'm doing that mime. These guys need each other, right? And then you had Mark Warburton left as well. He came on to spoke to you, did a video with you, Gio, on Hammers Chat, and he said, I had to leave for my friend, so as I didn't ruin my friendship with David Moyes. You had Paul Nevin, who was his tactician. Paul Nevin left as well. And then Stuart Pearce left. I hope he's getting better, by the way. Moyes' backroom staff are dissipated, right? So not only that, he'd stopped buying players at West Ham as well. A lot of stuff had gone wrong. West Ham were trying to move to a model with a director of football, which ironically we don't have anymore. Everything was crumbling around him at West Ham. And it's just so lazy to look at what he's doing at Everton and think, oh, I could just take that guy and transplant him out and pop him in West Ham. And if he was at West Ham now, West Ham would be doing great. That's not the case. And I just want to make that point there. It's absolutely the right man at the right club at the right time. But make no mistake about it, that man has benefited by being refreshed and taking some time off. He looked completely fed up with football. He looked fed up with life, quite frankly. And now he looks like a man with a spring in his step. He's a man that is feeling fruity and getting on really well. And I am pleased for him, very pleased for him. I just don't like all the crap that we're getting off the back of it, basically.
I wish him well. When he first went to Everton, I thought he'll do fine there. He'll do fine, and he's done that. He's turned them into a team that's hard to beat. They've had some really good performances, really good wins, got them away from that relegation zone immediately, and started getting a tune out of them just like that. The quick turnaround has been impressive, and I think he is in the right club, and I think he's the right man to take them from Goodison Park into Bramley-Moore. We had Slaven Bilic at the time, and I think he was the right man to do it for West Ham. Someone that had that love for the club, that love for the fan base, just to bridge us over. And I think it could have been, the move to London Stadium wasn't good, but I think it could have been worse. And I think it could have been worse if there wasn't effectively a human shield in the dugout for the board of West Ham United. But I think Moyes is the right person to do that for Everton. I think he'll understand it. I think he'll do everything he can so that that transition isn't difficult. He's experienced the crap from Upton Park to the London Stadium off the back, post Slaven Bilic and post Pellegrini twice. He's experienced coming in to a stadium move that has not worked out. Mm-hmm. So he's seen the ugly side of it. He's seen what happens when it goes wrong, and I expect he will be doing all he can to make sure that doesn't occur at Everton. And I don't think it will. I think they'll go on to do really well under him. And I genuinely wish him all the best, because I was pleased we moved on from him. We got it wrong, but he gave me seasons where I thoroughly enjoyed the football and I enjoyed what he delivered. At the end of it, no, but that European win as well, I'll forever be grateful for him. I find it easy, actually, to look at him and think, good luck. Yeah. Just like certain players when they leave West Ham, I think, genuinely wish you all the best. I've got absolutely no problem with you when you move on from West Ham United. Like Ben Johnson going to Ipswich, genuinely wish him the best of luck. And if I watch Ipswich, I hope he has a good game. And if he does, I think, well done, good on you. I hope you have a good career post West Ham. Don't get me wrong, there's one or two players that when they leave, I think, I hope the ones that leave on sort of ugly terms for whatever reason, like Marko Natovic. I was a bit, when he left, I thought, do one, mate.
Hope your next shit's a hedgehog, yeah.
Something like that. But yeah, I've got nothing against Moyes, but I think he'll do really well at Everton. Speaking of next season, then quite a big one for them.
Yeah, it's a massive season for them. I mean, it's going to be so exciting to go into that ground. Really is. I don't know what their finances are going to be like. They're going to need to sign players. I'm not sure they'll be able to sign that many. They've probably got the right manager in that sense, because they'll do really, really well. I was going to say what they don't need is European football. We're not going to get European football anymore, and we're going to get European football. It's going to take a little bit of time to build up, and he really is the perfect guy to do that. He really is. I think they haven't got a huge number of assets. I think maybe Branthwaite is possibly someone that's coveted by other clubs. There's rumours that Richarlison might want to come back, or Moyes might want to bring him back there, which, again, as soon as I heard it, it sort of made sense. Do you know what I mean? It's a big season for them, but sometimes you get these things, and I look at Glasner taking over at Crystal Palace last season, and he had such a run. I don't think it was helped that the run was at the end of the season, but it was going to be. It's so easy to look at that and think, well, if they mirror that run of form, the start of next season, they're going to be contenders. Well, obviously they lost to Lise, and it's slightly different. Moyes has just done well to get where he is. I think they're getting draws at the moment, but he came in for real flurry, real burst. If he could do next season and get them 10th or 11th, I think he'll have done really, really well. I really do. But I think it will be a really exciting season for him. And I don't know what it must be like for Everton fans, because they've almost had the sword of Damocles hanging over their head for the last few seasons, this points deduction thing, and having to sell. Well, I had to sell Richarlison. Funny enough, talking about him, didn't they? And I must be breathing a huge sigh of relief. That'll only last for so long, but I think they've got next season. That's fine. I don't even have to have massive expectations. Just nice to be in the Premier League. Nice to have a manager that knows what he's about. Nice to know that they're going to play in a new stadium, keep some clean sheets, and score some goals as well, which they weren't doing under Dyche, obviously. And honestly, good luck to them next season.
Yeah, it's like at the end of the tunnel for a fan base that's been through the ringer in recent seasons. Like, it feels like a constant threat of relegation. And then when they have been surviving, they had that spell under Ancelotti when they were playing really good football and they were looking really good, but I felt Ancelotti was perhaps always going to maybe be a little bit short term for them. But since then, I mean, the football under Dyche was just terrible. I felt really sorry for Everton fans to be aiming to finish 17th or 16th and play that style of football. It's a chore. It is a chore to watch. Like you said, the Premier League thing, Onana also, they had to sell Onana in order to...
Yes.
It's like, hey, we've got a good player. All right, okay, now we've got to sell him just to stay afloat. It could be a good season for them. I think if, they get it right in the summer, you wouldn't put against them being up there. If there was to be 8 spots for European football again next season, they're outsiders for it. You wouldn't rule them out. He's turned them into a team that's hard to beat, and that's without signing anyone. And, you speak of Branthwaite, he's spoken about wanting to sign a new contract and becoming captain of Everton. Wow, there you go. You've got an elite centre-back commitment. You've got one of the best goalkeepers in the league. You've got Tarkowski there. There's a strong core at that club already. It's just a case of how much money can he get. And we speak about how, Moyes can learn from West Ham's wrongdoings with the move to the London Stadium. Everton can learn from West Ham's wrongdoing in terms of David Moyes, in the sense that you do not bring in a director of football and make them butt heads. Let him get the players he wants, because when he does, they may be expensive and they may be Premier League proven, but there's a reason he wants them, and he tends to be able to get a tune out of the ones he really wants. Players you admire?
Well, Branthwaite would be a big one there. I've forgotten his name already. Ndidi.
Yeah, you're right. Well done. Yeah,
he's really good. And funny enough, this is the thing. I watched Man U. Watched them a few. So I watched Everton against Man U. Watched the way that they were pressing. Going back to what I said earlier, West Ham did not play like that. But he's inherited players who I sometimes think with that guy, whose name I've already forgotten, he'd never buy someone like that, David Moyes. So sometimes I can't ever imagine him buying Beto. I can't imagine him buying Decore. I can imagine him buying Tarkowski. He would have bought him a number of times. I don't even think he'd have bought Branthwaite. All right, I think you've got players there who Moyes probably wouldn't have bought, but if he inherited them, it just allows him to play this high press and sometimes on the front foot. But if you remember at West Ham, we tried to play counter-attacking football, but we'd never have any real direct, sometimes no direct runners and no real pace apart from Mikel Antonio in the team. So I just feel some of what he's inherited has really benefited to him. So if they have any standout players, well, I think Beto has just looked amazing, but I think that's a testament to Moyes' man management. I don't think he'd have been playing if everyone will laugh now, if Everton and West Ham fans, if Calvert-Lewin would have been fit. Because I just think he'd have chosen him. And I think possibly that even happened in his first couple of games. It was a case of get Calvert-Lewin fit and get him playing. But sometimes you get forced to get a tune out of a player and you uncover a gem. And I think he's got a real gem there. He seems to have it all. He really does. If he can get his head right, he's fast enough, he's big, he's strong, good in the air, good on the deck. Get that confident finishing in him, which he's done. He looks a real player as well. And it's quite funny, actually, watching him have Harrison there, because it was the same Harrison that scored a hat-trick against us, right? Same geezer?
Correct, yeah.
So Moyes will know all about him, so it's quite funny, Moyes ending up with him as well. Again, maybe not a player necessarily he would buy, but gets him. And I think, a couple of occasions I've seen, he's looked okay. Not a world, but I don't look at that team and think they've got loads of world beaters, Gio. I really don't. I think he's getting... He's really getting something out of a group of players. He's getting them performing way above their level. So, but yeah, they've got some neat and tidy players.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of talent in that team. I think Pickford, one of the best in the league. Tarkowski's reliable as ever. Branthwaite is one of the best centre-backs in the league. Beto, he's someone I always thought would do well under Moyes. It's taken a little while to be proven correct. I think I've been proven correct anyway, and he had to do it in an Everton strip rather than a West Ham strip. But I always also felt Dyche was utilising wrong. The preview we did for this game last season, I remember saying we keep launching at him, but I think he's actually decent on the deck, and I think we're seeing that now. I think the injury to Calvert-Lewin was a happy accident. It's just a case of how can he continue to mould this squad and what can he do? He's taken Ashley Young out the team straight away and played Jake O'Brien, who they paid a lot of money for, but Dyche put him in and out of the team. Understandably so, he's got his centre-backs there. But you'd also see Michael Keane ahead of him. Moyes has come in, put his centre-back at right-back. He's performing really well. I imagine the right-back could be a priority for Everton in the summer. But Harrison, Moyes called him out a little bit last week. He said, we need some more goals and assists. Next game, bang, got a goal. Albeit via deflection. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. It's like, there you go. That's exactly what you wanted. Right, from Everton and Moyes to Potter and West Ham, we're going to start with a bit of team news. And it's, as you were really, the only bit of team news is that Somerville's out for the remainder of the season. Antonio is still out, but everyone else is available. Whether Fulkrug is available or not, wait for Potter's conference. But for this preview, Gonzo, you can use him if you want. And same with Vladimir Soufal. We're going to pretend he's back and available. Uncertainties over Andy Irving because he wasn't in the squad against Newcastle, but he's not been called up for Scotland either. Whether he would have been called up or not, I don't know. But he's disappeared in the last week or so. But again, you can include him for this preview you wish. And just for a reminder, because there's still people that don't understand, let me just say this very clearly. This is the team me and Gonzo would like to see play, not the one that we think Graham Potter will name.
Yeah.
Capiche. Gonzo, can I get the goalkeeper and defence you would like to see, including, three at the back, four at the back? You might fancy a bit of a formation change.
No, I don't think Potter can. I want to see an attitude change, not a formation change. I'm happy enough with a formation. I would. That being said, I've not given it. I've done my Everton research, but I've not really given too much thought to what West Ham team. It's still taken me Thursday now. I'm still fed up about Monday, so I am. I talk about older grudge. Areola in goal, who thoroughly deserves that after his stunning saves. Can we stop asking him to? I just don't get it. I still don't get this. Maybe someone more enlightened can tell me why, if we're going to hoof it up the pitch, which is what we seem to do, can we not just get Kilman or Cresswell to hoof it up the pitch? If that's all we're going to do, get someone else to do it. I know it's not a tactic I want to see, just to do your disclaimer again for you. But if we are going to hoof it up the pitch, can we have a big fella up the top and then maybe just get one of the people? Can we get a guy that can use his feet to kick the ball rather than a guy that uses his hands to kick the ball? Anyway, there you go.
To come back from that and give you an answer, I'll give you my opinion anyway.
Yeah.
I think it's because the intention is he will play out from the back to a defender, but then when we're pressed, and the options to give it to Kilman or Todibo are restricted, that's when he goes long. I think because he will often give it to a defender and then get it back from the defender. And I think there's an issue there as well. The defenders give it back to him too easily. Quite often he was giving it to Kilman, and Kilman would give it back to Areola, and he'd give it to Todibo, and Todibo would give it back to him. And by the time that happens, it's man for man pressing, and he's got no first line of West Ham players. They're gone now. It's go long or be really adventurous and try and find a midfielder, which you don't want to be encouraging. So I think that's the reason for it. I think his intention is to play. I think we've got an issue with A, Areola's kicking, but also B, the centre-backs give it back to him too easily sometimes, in my opinion. They use him if you need to, but I think there's times they could get it or receive it on the half turn and be facing forwards, but they get it facing Areola. So it's like, right, back it goes. But I think there's a lack of options from, not Ward-Prowse, he makes himself available, but Alvarez and Souček, I think, aren't the best at making themselves available for the centre-backs. And I don't think Wan-Bissaka and Scarles are necessarily the best at making themselves available for the centre-backs either. So I think that's the issue.
Listen, it's I think that's a really good explanation. All I would say to that is that Graham Potter needs to come up with a counter tactic then, because he's a coach and a tactician, so he's going to need to think his way through that. But I understand what you're saying.
So you at the back, are you changing it?
Yeah, same as before. So same as before, and I do understand. You made the point. I'm not claiming your point. You made the point. It was a good one when we did our patron that you feel that Cresswell will be targeted in this one. I do agree, but I don't really see what I want. Cresswell being targeted, or Mavropanos stumbling into someone and giving away a penalty. I don't know. I'm still going to go with Cresswell because I think he's done really, really well, actually. And I would expect Potter to know what you know, and to come up with a counter tactic to deal with Beto, if that's the case.
Just to back you up a little bit, even if you start Mavropanos, I think Moyes would target Mavropanos because Moyes also didn't like Mavropanos. It wasn't his centre back, didn't want him, didn't really use him that much, cost him as well. So Moyes will know that guy's a bit of a liability, so stay away from the other ones. And so whether you play Cresswell or him, I think either one of them would have a bit of a target on the back with Moyes. I would like to see a formation switch, Gonzo. I think this is what the pre-season bit's for. I think you either become really good at what you're doing, which I don't think we're quite done yet, or you try new things, and this is where I would try new things. Potter in his career has always flicked between a back three and a back four and a back three and a back four, and the midfield changes as well. Sometimes he'd have his box midfield, sometimes it would be a diamond, sometimes it would be just three flat midfielders. So he has a lot of different ways of playing. Some are good, some aren't so good. So for this, I'd go to a back four. I think you look at what Everton's got, there's a good chance they'll be sitting back, wanting to counter-attack us and whatever. And I think if we were to rock up and play three at the back, I think it becomes I think you're almost encouraging the boredom, to be honest with you. I think you'll find yourself in a situation we did against Newcastle, which is when we have the ball, we're finding the three unavailable players are actually our centre-backs. That you've got Todibo marking no one, essentially. You've got Cresswell marking no one. You've got Kilman up against Beto. Then you've got Lindstrom up against Scarles, and you've got Haddison up against Wan-Bissaka. I want to get away from that. So four at the back, get an extra attacker on there. So my back four, you can probably guess, Wan-Bissaka at right back, Todibo and Kilman centre back, and Scarles at left back. Cresswell's done nothing wrong, but let's keep letting the young lad apply and learn his trade independently between now and the end of the season in a different role. Moving into your midfield, then I assume this is where you're going to want to see a bit of a change.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but I have a massive change in this one. Actually, I will. For this one, I would actually play. We've got three centre backs, so I just, there's your defensive cover there. I'd actually play James Ward-Prowse, and I'd play Lucas Paqueta as a two. So Lucas Paqueta is a number 8 in this game here. I want to sort out the goals. I want to sort out the goals situation. What do you do with your finger?
Your wing backs, please.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm going to go with the same wing backs. Go with Obi Wan-Bissaka and And I think I'm going to stick with Ollie Scholes for this as well, because we want energy. And whilst I don't think he's rapidly quick, want energy and I want intent. So I'd like to fly forward on this, and I still think he's got a hell of a cross on him. Because I'm going to put a target. He's going to have a target to hit in this one, and I think we're going to see the best of him when he has actually something to aim for.
Right before I reveal my midfield and Gonzo's attack, just want to point in the direction of our Patreon. We've got a big competition this weekend, and it's exciting, and you don't have to give us a penny. Now, if you're an existing patron, you can enter already. It's included in your subscription, but hopefully this will entice a few of you to give Patreon a go. So we have a prediction competition. You guess the score and the first goal scorer of this match. All the winners go into a bowl. We select one overall winner. The runners-up also receive a prize. So if you get it right, you're guaranteed to get something. These are the prizes up for grabs this weekend, but what we've done is increase the trialist prize. So if you sign up and take the 7-day free trial, you don't give us a penny. You can enter the prediction competition, and if you were the overall winner, you would win a signed Jimmy Walker book. So that book is worth 20 quid. You'd get it for free. We pay the postage as well, so it'll cost you nothing, and you'll get a free book. If you're a supporter and you win it, you will win a signed Paulo Di Canio captain's armband. If you're a mild addict, you will win a signed Sir Trevor Brooking shirt. And if you're the top tier, if you love a bit of Hammers chat, you will win the signed Sir Trevor Brooking shirt and the signed Paulo Di Canio captain's armbands. You get 2 prizes. Go to patreon.com/Hammers chat to sign up. Links in the description, links in the pinned comments. Like I said, you can join up as a trialist. You get all the content over the next 7 days, which will include my opposition prediction for this game. We've got our podcast, which has nothing to do with football, on there. We've got a breakfast show Saturday morning. We've got the player ratings on Monday morning. There's lots of content. Go check it out. Thank you for the support. My midfield, I'm going wild, Gonzo. This is Geo Unleashed. James Ward-Prowse, Carlos Soler in midfield for me. I think Ward-Prowse has been doing his role well. I've actually got no problems with the role James Ward-Prowse has been doing. I think he needs to do more. I think he could move the ball forward a little bit better and quicker. But I think what Potter's asking him to do, I think he's carrying out sufficiently. So he stays in the team for me. Carlos Soler, I wouldn't buy him if I had to decide now. But there's still quite a bit of the season left to go, a quarter of the season, 20 league games to go. I want to see him deeper. Every time I watch him, I think he's not an attacking midfielder, but he's definitely talented.
Yeah.
So I want to try him deeper in midfield. We've not seen it yet. And the way we play, I think he would suit that role, but also the opposition this weekend, I think he would suit this game. I wouldn't have played him against Newcastle in that role. I wouldn't play him against, say, Liverpool or Man City or anything like that. I think he would struggle. But in a game this weekend where we could end up having 60% of possession or something like that, I think this game might suit him. So Soler in beside James Ward-Prowse and Lucas Paqueta as well in midfield. Whether he's a third midfielder, a number 10, argue amongst yourselves, but get Paqueta back into the team. That leaves you with 3 players. Who's your 3 attackers?
Bowen, Kudus, and Ferguson. I am going wild. Also, just a different kind of wildness, I guess. I just look. Let's get this absolutely straight. We're averaging in his 8 games in charge in Premier League games. We're averaging 2 shots on target a game and less than 10 shots throughout the game. That needs to be. I totally agree. By the way, when Potter came in, needs to address the defence, because if you look at the statistics there, was shocking. Well, now we've got some new shocking statistics, so we can sort those out as well. I think if it is weird what we've done with a striker, and as I'll repeat what I've said it a number of times. So a few people say, well, what else could he do? What else could he do? I counted. You're quite right. Carlos Soler is maybe not an attacker, and you could play him back there, but he is a forward-thinking player. His instinct is to take the team forward, and it's about that attacking intent. And I counted in my head in terms of the players on the bench and that could be deployed. He had 7 players that you would consider to have attacking intent in his squad for the Newcastle game. He played 2 of them, and I think.
Are you saying you want to see Danny Ings start? Is that what you're saying?
Nicely done. Yeah, and I just think, if you're going to address that, we did. I did my immature analyst on Patreon yesterday, and as I was going through the
Which you can
scout.
watch as a trialist.
Oh, you can watch it as a trialist. There you go. If you want to see, but like a child getting hold of a Ferrari, basically. So I've got access to the global scouting network and all the data and all the stuff. Honestly, it really is. It's like someone's just learned to read, being given Shakespeare or something like that. So I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm constantly surprised in it. And when I saw the average shot distance, as people who watched the video would have known, I was not too pleased. So Newcastle's average shot distance, if you tallied them all up, they generally shot 10 metres. Their shots were 10 metres away from goals. Our average was 20 metres. 20 metres. Well, it's not surprising. No wonder everyone's thinking, I might as well have it's probably, I wonder how many of those are Areola, actually. So I'm not, look, something's got to change. It hasn't got to. Nothing will happen this season, but they've got a really good defence. As you pointed out, they've stuck Keane. They've stuck a centre back at full back, which seems to be all the rage these days anyway. Tarkowski is just a brick wall, right? Branthwaite, as I say, I think he could play at the top level. They are not going to be easy to score against. And we certainly, I don't think we're going to rock up and have 9 shots, 2 of which are going to be on target, and you're going to score a goal against them. You're just not, right? So I think we've got to do something different. I think we got if we want to win the game, we got to go for it. That's if we want to win it, though.
Yeah, I think I'll go Bowen on the right, Goodison on the left, which is not his best position, but he deserves to start. And then if he's fit, Fulkrug up front. But if he's not fit, then go Ferguson. My question, if I was a coach of Graham Potter, I'd say between Ferguson and Fulkrug, do you have 90 minutes between them? Do you have an hour from Ferguson and half an hour from Fulkrug? Is that possible? Yes. There's your answer. Right now, you've got it. If you can only get an hour out of Ferguson, right, is the other one available for half an hour? And if the answer is yes, ta-da! There's your answer. I also want to see something different. I want to see just us having a desire to pick up 3 points on Saturday. Potter's right. He spoke about how he needed to fix the defence, and he said about how we conceded 39 goals in 20 games or whatever it was. So we needed to score 2 goals a game to get something. Correct. Well, if we keep attacking the way we are, we're going to have to keep a clean sheet to get something. So you can look at it either way you want. Yeah. People, yes, having a leaky defence is a bad thing, but it's only a bad thing if you're not scoring goals. But you're conceding a goal a game, but you're scoring 2 goals a game. It's not an issue as long as you're carrying that threat forward. That's why. Let's go back to Slaven Bilic, what happened in Park. We were conceding 2-3 goals a game, but it was okay because we're capable of scoring 3 or 4. It was fun, right? We used to go in 2-0 down at half-time. I wasn't that bothered because I was quite confident we were going to come out and get a couple more. I had faith and I had confidence that we would get goals, plural. Newcastle scored on Monday. I thought, well, that's it done because we ain't getting a goal, never mind 2. So if we continue to play the way we are, defensively it's better, but there's a lot of pressure on that defense to keep a clean sheet. Otherwise, you're not going to get what you want out of that game. And that's a dangerous thing to do, I think. I just want to see a little bit of the X factor back into West Ham this weekend, please. I think, Potter might not be arsed about the magnitude of the game. And it shouldn't be a big game, Everton West Ham. It shouldn't be. It's 15th versus 16th, with neither team in danger of getting relegated. But Talk Sports, Sky Sports, they're going to be licking their lips over this one. I agree with what you said earlier. This is a do not lose game. I can't be bothered. Up until now, I've actually... The David Moyes thing hasn't really bothered me because I've just left it alone. I've not done any videos about Moyes. I've stayed away from it. I'm not that arsed. You can't ignore it for this one, though. But then when people start speaking about he should have kept him, blah, 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 it doesn't bother me. And I'll tell you why it doesn't bother me. Because I'm pissed off at hiring Lopetegui, not what happened before that. My anger, my frustration is that. But I said it to Frankie off air yesterday. To sum up the significant difference between the two, No one speaks about Lopetegui anymore. No one's arsed about Lopetegui anymore. People still speak about David Moyes, even though he's been, we're on the second manager post Moyes, and it's still part of the conversation. I know people are going to say, well, you talk about him now. We have to. It's an Everton preview. Just don't, please, Gaffer, do not lose this one on Saturday, because I can't be arsed with the international break of Talk Sport running with this should have kept Moyes, etc., etc. I will admit this, though. I think if we kept him, I think we'd be better this season as to where we are. I don't think we'd be 16th at the minute. I think we'd be higher up the league table. Moyes would be.
If he'd have bought players. If he'd have bought players.
Yeah. But it doesn't mean it was the right thing to do. What it was the wrong thing to do was to hire Lopetegui. And that's why it's 15th versus 16th this weekend, because we got the summer wrong in terms of who we brought in, and also the way we spent the money. Because, like I said, on Monday night, after spending 138 million-ish, on Monday night, only 3 players started that we purchased in the summer. And one of them, in Todibo, we haven't even paid for yet, so he wasn't included in the 130 million. That's where it's gone wrong. Gonzo, can you promote Match Bingo for me, please? Because I've been talking for ages.
I'm more than happy to promote Match Bingo, because we like a bit of Match Bingo, and actually I've already got my cards in for this game.
Look at us.
There you go. And if you don't know what get your cards in means, it's a bit like a bingo card, but rather than there being numbers on it, there are incidents that happen in a football match. Things like a throw-in, things like a goal kick, things like a kick-off. Easy stuff, substitutions. And what you get on your card is 15 things that you need to happen. The 15 things are in 3 rows of 5. Once you complete 1 row, you get a tick. The first person to do that wins some money. The second person to complete another row wins some money. If you get the full house, you win some money. If you're the second person to win a full house, you win some money. That's called the bonus pot. There's lots of good reasons why you should do this. Please use the link in the description below. So I know you've come from Hammers Chat, but it's £2 a card, £2. That is it. And you can only you can only buy a maximum of 5 cards in any game. So this is not people say bet responsibly, and so you should, but you're not going to be able to gamble your house away with this stuff, which is very, very important. By the way, if you want to deposit a tenner, we will give you, not me and Gio personally, Match Bingo will give you an additional £10. That means £20 for those of you that are not good at maths. Pay 10. Get 20. I say, links description below. We've had more than 200 winners just from you folks who watch Hammers Chat, watch these videos, listen to what we say, click on the link. It's fun. And by the way, as Gio did point this out, very important, you don't have to cross the things off like in bingo. They'll do it for you. You can sit down, enjoy the match, or if you're at the game, stand up and scream songs at those Everton fans, and then check your winnings afterwards.
Yeah, I'm just having a look at some of mine. I've got one caught offside. I need West Ham to get someone needs to be offside. For Everton, one of the things I need, kick off half. Guaranteed winner.
That may happen.
It may happen. Everton may take kick off at one of the halves. Anyway, links in the description below and pin comments. Get involved. Gonzo, are you feeling fruity for this one?
No, I have had the fruitiness. I'm not going to say that. I am. I have
gone sucked.
Sucked out of me.
Lucky you.
Exactly.
To be fair,
talking about fruitiness, David Moyes during COVID, Everton fans, if there's any of you watching this, he took on voluntary work. He delivered baskets of fruit to the frail and the elderly. And I doubt he's such a good guy. I doubt he even pinched a grape for himself as he was walking it up the stairs.
It's the 14th of March tomorrow, so
what's that got to do with anything?
You might get your fruitiness sucked out of you once more.
Is it not that steak and what's it day, is it?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. It's 1 month after Valentine's is the 14th of February, so it's the 14th of March. There's the steak and fruitiness day, yeah. So enjoy if you're lucky, fortunate to be participating. Enjoy. This is where I'm missing Manscaped as a sponsor, because I'd be able to intertwine it. That if you would, yeah, this is where I would just sit here and say, "Hey, steak and blowjob day." So make sure you've got your pube trimmer ready to rock and roll. But I don't sponsor us anymore.
I'll probably end up just having a steak, to be honest with you.
Steak and tug day.
Like a vegan, like corn imitation steak, and reach around. Dave, reach around yourself. There's a tug in it, but there you go. Yeah.
Anyway, they've got enough days. They don't need another one.
Oh dear.
I'm not feeling too confident for this one. Everton are a hard team to beat. You know, unbeaten in the last 5. They've lost 1 in their last 11 or 12 or something like that. And that was Bournemouth in the FA Cup, and I think you can, because they were in a bit of a relegation battle, and you can understand why they decided, let's just not bother with this one and let's just focus on retaining our Premier League safety. So form-wise, they're one of the better ones in the Premier League at the minute. It's certainly one of the hardest teams to beat right now. And he's turning Goodison Park into a bit of a mini fortress just before the end of the season. So no, I'm not looking forward to this one. Potter does have a good record over Moyes still, because we suffered it as a West Ham fan when Brighton would walk up. It was like, here we go again. So he does tend to have Moyes' number, but he had Thomas Frank's number, and that didn't work out too well. Any final words, Gonzo, and your all-important score prediction while I get my reliable Sharpie out to guess what you're going to say?
No, I was just, when I was listening to you speak earlier about what would Moyes have done if he was here this season. I'm very certain Kurt Zouma would still be playing. There'd be no Kurt Zouma in Saudi. I think that would be the case. Look, Moyes knows how to do a lot of stuff. He knows West Ham. He knows the West Ham players backwards. You've got some interesting subplots. Everton possibly interested in Thomas Souček. Thomas Souček and Moyes got on very well. Souček to score the winner, that could happen. There's all manner of things here, and certainly Potter can beat Moyes. We know that. That being said, all we can do is look at very recent evidence, and all we've got as West Ham fans is the last 8 games. And if you look at West Ham's last 8 games and you look at Everton since David Moyes took over, it's really hard to see us scoring against them. I just can't see any evidence for that. I think there's going to be the football equivalent of Valium, quite frankly, and I think it's going to be 0-0.
Ooh, all right. 1-0 Everton. I feel like it's got a low scoring draw written all over it, to be honest with you. I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's bloody exciting. And I hope that we can enjoy it for 90 minutes. I hope it finishes 4-3 West Ham, but I just can't see it. When Moyes took over and he looked at what fixtures were remaining for Everton between time of appointment and end of season, he would have obviously picked out the Merseyside derbies. I'm pretty sure this is one he would have picked out and said, well, I'm having it there.
Show them.
That's the game I'm gonna. And I think you might get that as well. I think you might just get that from his players, because we've seen at West Ham when he's got his team morale and attitude switched on, they do have this sort of band of brothers feel about them a little bit, and I do think you might just see that on Saturday. This is a bloody tough game. I'm really not looking forward to it, and I think it'll finish 1-1. I think it'll be 1-1 and last on match of the day. Be one of those where there's just 5 shots on target from both teams, but I hope I'm wrong. Fingers crossed. We'll wait and see. But you guys at home, let us know how you're feeling ahead of this game. Get involved in the comments below. Let us know the 11 you would like to see Graham Potter field at Goodison Park on Saturday as well. But if you've enjoyed this preview, please do drop a like on it by clicking thumbs up, subscribe to Hammers Chat, and if you fancy becoming a trialist over at Hammers Chat Patreon, go to patreon.com/Hammers Chat. But make sure you enter the prediction competition, because we've got a captain's armband and a signed Sir Trevor booking shirt up for grabs, as well as a Jimmy Walker signed book as well. Catch you in a bit.